What does it mean to be loved by God? If you've been reading the Gospel of John this week, I'm sure that you have realized that love is a major theme of what John writes about. So, what does it mean for God to love you? I think that it means that God made a way where there is no way. In a kingdom, usually it is the family of the king that is more important to the king than the rest of the kingdom. And the firstborn son in traditional cultures is the most important member of the kingdom. So when God sent his son in the form of a man, some theologians have said that God bankrupted heaven. Because in order for Jesus to atone for the sins of man, he would have to live a sinless life from the day he was born for the rest of his life. When people respond to him out of anger, he responds out of love. When people respond out of selfish ambition, he responds out of humility. And when people treat him badly, he treats them well. He did this in his entire life, and then he voluntarily laid his life down for us. And he did this because he loves us. Being loved by God means that you can never doubt his resolve. You can't say that God only loves you a little bit, because he didn't die a little bit. It wasn't an insignificant thing that God did for you. It was a major thing. It was a significant achievement for him to bring you into relationship with himself. So being loved by God means that we can never doubt his resolve. But I think God is very similar to my wife, in that there have been times where my wife has asked me to do things and I have no memory of her asking me to do that. And often, if I'm looking at my phone and my wife is talking, I have learnt that I will have no memory of anything that she's saying in 5 minutes' time. So when my wife asks me to do something and I don't do it because I don't remember what she said, my wife doesn't feel loved. When she asks me to do something and I remember what she said but I fail to do it, she also doesn't feel loved. It's only when I remember what she has said and I remember to do the thing that she asked me to do or not to do, that's when my wife feels loved. John 14:21 says, "Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love them and show myself to them." So if I want to love my wife, when she speaks, I have learned to put my phone down, because I know that I can't love my wife while my phone is in my hand and she's talking. This is what this passage is talking about. In order for God to feel loved by you, what it means is you have to remember the resolve by which God loves you. It means that when he speaks, perhaps you turn the TV off, or you put your phone down. Maybe it's that you have one night a week where you're focusing on what is it, God, that you were saying to me? Because it is only when you hear the commands and apply those commands to your life that God will feel loved by you. This is what it means for you to know that you are loved by God, with the resolve that God has, that you have the same resolve to love him in the way that he has loved you. John 13:35 says, "By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." It's really hard to love God when you don't love the people that God made. If there's a person that you just struggle to get along with, then what you need to do is you need to go back to the commands that God has given you. You need to go back to the basics. And as you follow the commands, John 14:21 says that the one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love them and I will show myself to them. if there's a person that you struggle to get along with, as you follow the commands of God, He is literally going to reveal Himself to you, and you will start to see the things in them that God sees. You will start to exhibit the kinds of behaviors that God would have. You will literally start to live a life the way that Jesus used to live. Being loved by God means that we understand His passionate resolve for us. It means that we understand that there is design in every single one of His commands, and that we understand that God's desire is not just that we alone are loved, but that God loves everyone, that we're all on this journey together following after God. This is what it means to be loved by God.